Hello, hello. May peace and blessings be with you. I am super excited to have my lovely guest, Martha Arnett, who's a soul coach with us today. Martha is a client of mine, but she is such an inspiration that I want to share her with more people. And I'm just so excited that Martha has made time for us today. And we're going to talk about using intuition, leaning into your intuition when you're making business decision, when you're, trying to pursue a path and things get in the way and you feel stuck, how to, use your intuition and get over that, and how to lean into that more and more and use it to your advantage so that you have lots and lots of business success. Martha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I love all things Timmy. So thank you. So excited to be talking to your folks.
So Martha, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you landed with this.
Yes. So I have, by training, I've been a psychotherapist for 30 years at this point, and also a transformational life coach for a very long time, and an intuitive my whole life. But I've done many trainings, apprenticeships, and all the things with intuition. I would say for about the past 18 years or so. So what I do is I wrap all those things up and I offer it to folks. My real passion is teaching people how to reconnect. And I say reconnect because intuition is really our sixth sense, right? We don't have to practice the first five senses. We don't smelling, touching, hearing, those things. Mostly, unless there's injury, we don't have to practice those. We just have them. Well, we are also born with a sixth sense of intuition, and it is quickly socialized out of us. So it's a returning to that sense. And when we do, it is so powerful, so important, and so helpful. So that's my real passion, and helping female women entrepreneurs reconnect with their given intuition so they can help clear some of those inner blocks and some of those things that are getting in the way of helping them grow and scale their businesses really quickly. I love doing that. So
Martha, I'm so grateful that you do this work, because I know that for a long time I wanted to start my own business, but I struggled with it. I struggled with, taking that initial step and saying yes to my dreams, to, what I wanted to do. And I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs in that phase where they don't know, when is the right time for them, like whether to pursue something that their heart is calling them to or not. Do you have any advice? Like, what should they do if they're at the very, very beginning? They feel like they have this inkling that they want to follow, what do they do? How can they get more clarity?
Yeah. So a couple things. Intuition is a body sensation. This is where I think we get confused. I mean, you can get thoughts that are intuitive, and absolutely to honor those, but it is a body sense. It comes in through the body. And so often, like for me, you probably can't see it, it's my solar plexus. I am guided strongly. A lot of actually my no, like if something is a no for me, it comes in through my solar plexus. If it's a yes, it comes in through my heart, kind of chest space. I can feel it. So I have learned the discernment around that. I bet people know that already. They know that for them. They always say like all the gut is the second brain. Now they're saying more the gut is the first brain, but it holds so much information for us. And I bet a lot of people, even though they say, I'm not connected to my intuition, I bet they're connected to their gut knowing, right? Like if you're walking into a space and something feels off, that's your intuition. Trust it, right? So I would say begin to pay attention once again to your body. Now, the first thing we have to do, this is the biggest problem, screens. We have to become disciplined, actually, because all this stuff is set up so that we're on it all the time and we get these dopamine hits, and it's all set up for us to become addicted to it, actually. And so for us, if you really want to reconnect with your intuition. You've got to get off those things so you can begin to spend time with your body and how it is that you receive your knowing. So that would be my first thing. My second thing, if we feel that calling, there's a lot of stuff out there that's just like, jump, you can do it, follow your heart. I'm all about that. And I'm also of this earth, right? I'm also of this world. I know I've had every single hard physical labor job. I grew up on farms. I have everything. I have waitressed, I've cleaned houses, I've painted walls, I've done shoveled barns, I've done it all. So I know I need to pay my rent. And so there's a practical piece too, right? So I'm all in support of, don't lose touch with I call it your spirit, your intuition. Don't lose touch with that. And also take care of, because a lot of people will just discount intuition. They'll discount the whole heart-led stuff, but don't discount it. I like to hold both. And also, if you feel like you can't even step into this heart calling yet, you can touch in with the energy of that even while you're doing this job maybe you don't particularly love, or maybe it's not a job, maybe it's just something that your world is requiring of you to do, take care of your grandchildren, whatever it is, right? Like, there are ways. I just worked with somebody yesterday around this. There are ways to stay connected to your spirit while doing practical things that you have to do on this planet. There's a way to do both, to infuse more joy and sparkle and light into, and then that will help you stay connected. I'm just going to keep touching here. For me, it's the heart chakra. It's the heart energy where I am led, and where so many people are led if they are able to reconnect, or when they are able to reconnect, but when they reconnect. Did that answer your question? I'm not sure if that was okay.
Martha, so fantastic. So here's the thing, what I've learned in my journey, I think we have to say yes, right? I love like how you said you look at both things. There's a practical aspect to the day-to-day, right? What is the business impact if you say yes to this opportunity, or if you don't say yes to this opportunity, right? But then don't discount where your heart is leading you, right? Because that is so important. Because I think if we have both things going on, we excel so much faster, right? We get to the thing so much faster, and we begin to see results and create results, which like we can't even imagine were possible, right? Exactly. So even for me, I think what I tell all my clients is that you have to be super clear on your why, then figure out the what, right? You have your why, like this is why you want to do something, then what it is that you can do to give that why a life, right? How you manifest that. And then the how takes care of itself, right? Yes. The how is I feel like is the least like important part. Shouldn't say least important part, like you still need to execute on that plan or whatever. But I think the steps show themselves, right? Like, even in my business journey, like I have this beautiful like 12-week program now, but none of that would have happened if I didn't do, the first few steps, which was, like a 4 masterclass package that I did. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't do the very first one, which was to get clear on your business idea and all that. So, and when I did that, I didn't even have like full clarity on exactly, what and exactly how I was going to get there. No idea. I'm still, figuring it out as I go. But I am so clear on my why. I'm so clear in, why I do this work. And that just, becomes my life force. It's like energy that fuels me day in and day out. So I want you to talk about that, and how can we give ourselves permission to explore? How can we give ourselves permission to say yes?
Yes. So when I'm speaking to different communities, I always like to keep in mind the language that I use. So because for me, I do a lot of in my own mind and thinking about things in my own spirit. I think about the soul's journey. I don't know the people that are watching. I don't know what they think, but I do believe when we feel that tug, our soul is asking, you guys can use whatever language you want. Your spirit, your interests are pulling you along in a particular way. And to honor that, honestly, when I stepped into the title soul coach, now therapist is very much, I will always be a therapist. I will always be a coach. I will always be all that. But when I really stepped into being a soul coach. Like the work that I do comes from the fabric of my soul. That's what I am here to do. Then things started happening. So it's like energetically when you align. So I'm just going to use my language. When you energetically align with what you're here to do, with what I'm here to do. And I also want to say this, for many people, it's not one thing. There's a lot of folks. I remember Elizabeth Gilbert did a talk, and she did a talk on you find your passion, get your thing, do your thing. And then afterwards, she got a lot of negative feedback. And the feedback was, hey, I don't have just one passion. Like, that makes me feel bad, right? And she was like, oh my gosh. So then she came up with this idea that there are hummingbirds. And some people are hummingbirds for their whole life, right? They're just going to dip in, find interest they're going to do that. Then they're going to try this. And then they're going to try that. And they're going to try this their whole life. That's what they're going to do. And that is beautiful. And that is right for them. And that is the way it's meant to be for their soul this lifetime. Others of us, I am one of these people. I'm a sledgehammer. I have known since I was 0 years old that this is what I'm here to do. And that, so she calls them hummingbirds and sledgehammers. And I like to say one is not better than the other. One is not, more interesting or more right. They're not. But so I love to remind people of that. Like if you have an interest in this and then you're going to do that for a little while, do that. Follow the sparkle. When the sparkle starts to fade, if it's not because you feel like you don't have a tech person helping you, or if it's because you feel like you don't have somebody can help you clear some internal things, right? If you just seriously think I'm more interested in that thing over there, go explore that. See if maybe that's how you're meant to work this time around. So I just like to drop that piece in. And so, I am all about, I don't think there is a person out there, business wise, artistically wise, anybody that has ever said, I followed the tug of my heart. And then I was really bummed I did that. It's kind of like there's nobody that ever said, my gut said, do this. I did it and it was wrong ever. I don't think there's ever been a time anybody said, don't walk into that space. And then you didn't walk in there and you're sorry you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think we know when we know. And so half of the work is unraveling what society has said for us. When we're little, kids know who they trust. They know who they don't trust. They know what they want to eat. They know when to not eat. They know all these things. And then we start to say, well, what do you think about that? Rather than what do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? So this is an unraveling to get back to the knowing that we were born with. That's all it is. It's just an undoing of all the garbage that's come in. I keep going here because it's the left brain. The intellect is what stores the linear way of thinking, right? Is the thing that stores all of that information that we get from society. Of course, some of it's helpful. We need to go. It's like, I like to think of it like hand in hand. Einstein had this cool quote. He's like, he said something about the mind is, I can't remember it. Sorry, Timmy, but it's something about the intellect has become the general, and then the intuition has become the soldiers, when really it should be the flip. We want to be in communication. We need both, obviously. We need our intellect and we also need our intuition, but we've become to rely on the intellect and not on the intuition. And his advice, along with other really incredibly smart, successful people, has said the same thing. So Steve Jobs, a lot of folks, and a lot of those folks, not Einstein, but Steve Jobs and a lot of the big creatives and folks, their kids were not allowed to be on electronics for a very long time because they wanted them to be able to work with their intuition in this creative space longer and not be so impacted by external forces. So that's kind of cool to know.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
So fascinated by that. We have Jennifer Robb with us. Hi, Jennifer. We're so happy you're here with us live.
Cute picture.
Okay, so Martha, I'm just trying to figure out where do we go next from here, right? Mm-hmm. So I love absolutely everything that you have shared so far, because I think it is so spot on. I do feel that I struggled with that at the beginning of my business journey, at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey as well, that I had to pick just one thing, right? I felt like I was leaving a part of me behind. So I acceptance, like I embraced that I am a multi-passionate human being, and
Yes.
I let all of those passions come into play, right? I do
Yes.
tech work, which is very left brain. But
Mhm.
to me, what is energizing is the people transformations, right? Who we become in the process, in the mix as we work together, right?
Yes.
So I feel like that is what I'm in for. And I don't have to say yes to one and no to the other. It is a combination, and it is such a beautiful combination. And that is how we start to become like so unique in what we offer to our clients. So how do we encourage more people, more entrepreneurs to allow their full selves, their whole selves
Yes.
to come and play in business?
Oh my gosh, I love that. And let me just let you know, as you know, even on when I've just been with you in the past few months, like, and I've been at this work for a very long time. So for me, I mean, it's a process. Just trust that stepping in, and because I want to say, like, it's forever changing too, right? I really believe that each little, like, I go like this, like, because hopefully I'm growing and goes up, like each little chapter and each little manifestation of the way that I bring myself forward into the world, it's what it's meant to at that time. Like, that's what I need to go through to get there. So it's like I don't even know if there's an end game. Who knows what the end game is, right? But it's like, how can I be my most truest self in this moment, in this time period right now, in my situation that I'm in? Like, I'm a really grounded intuitive too. Like, I mean, I can connect and do all the things, and yet I'm really practical. And I think that really helps kind of bridge, because intuition isn't woo woo. Intuition, even though I love woo woo, by the way, I'm just saying it's not, it doesn't, it's just a sense. It is our knowing, it is our inner GPS. It is truly what guides us if we let it. And so, to answer your question, like, I have had the branding of soul coach for 6 years or so, but I will say energetically, I stepped into this title, but with you, not even 6 months ago, 4 months ago, even though I had everything was branded that way, I was still like, I'm a therapist or I'm a life coach, depending on who I was talking to, right? Like, I did not energetically fully step into, because I was a little shy around saying intuitive, around business people. I was a little shy around all these things, right? So I think it wasn't time for me to like fully embrace all of it, even though I was doing the same thing in session for the last 10 years. Probably the last 10 years, I've really incorporated the intuitive stuff, but none of it matters. It's just like energetically when it aligns with where I am. And so I say, where are you in this moment? And see, I look down, like, that is a gift I've been given, is I have this ability to go inside and be very present and very quiet with other people, but also with myself. That was a gift, even though we grew up with hardly any money. I grew up in the woods, and I would just, like, we had no media. That's another thing that probably helped. We had no TV, because that's all there was back then. No TVs. So my family just did not do it. My mom was an artist. We just didn't. And I just would wander the woods with my dog, and I still do that to this day, wander the woods. And that is how I really feel. Even in my 20s, I lived alone in all these different apartments. I was working all these different jobs in these big cities, because I was in psychology at all these different universities, and I didn't have a TV. I didn't have any. So one time I painted everything that wasn't attached to the ground. I would find furniture in the alleys. I would bring it in and I would paint it. And that's what I would do. I didn't even think about having a TV. I don't know. And so for me, I've always known. Now, I'm going to be honest. Do I always follow it? Absolutely not. Did I date people I probably shouldn't have? Absolutely. Did my gut tell me yes? Did I probably, there's so many things I didn't do, but did I know? Did I know? Yes, I did know. And because I've really kept in touch with my knowing. But I do want to say to people, we may know and we still don't make that decision. And my mentor, Sonia Choquette, always says, intuition tells us what we need, not what we want. Because sometimes those things don't match up. We may not want to do ABCD, but that might be exactly what we need to move us forward on our path. So that's a good reminder too. It doesn't always mean it feels yay. It's not wonderful, right? But if we follow it, life becomes flowy. Really, life is flowier when you follow and you don't resist against your knowing, your inner knowing.
I love it. So, how has life been since we started working together 9 weeks ago?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So my intuition has no tech, no tech capacity whatsoever. But you have just reminded me of patience, truly patience, and like endless patience. Your endless patience. You will like click on the upper right hand corner. I mean, you have been beyond patient. So for me, your guidance has, I mean, I have never really done lives or anything. I mean, I'm talking, I've been, a soul coach who sits in an office with people, and that's what I do. So this has been so incredible and just what I needed. Because, like I told you, I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm newly here from Chicago, and I am in this mountain all by myself. And so having your support and your connection and your intuition around a lot of things that are going to yet to come for me. You're very, very intuitive to me, and you have shared some things with me. And I've said no to those things because probably, once again, I'm not quite there. And but I can feel it's coming. So your intuition has really helped me. And I know that those things are going to come forth for me. I know that.
Martha, it is just so much fun working with you. Like the conversation we were having last night,
Yeah.
I was telling you that it lights me up, seriously, like seeing you, how fascinated you are by all this technology, right? We're working with Zoom, we're working with StreamYard, we're working with Go High Level and a whole bunch of other things. And you're like, okay, and you're like every step of the way you're learning and you're growing. It's just so incredible, just seeing you do all the things with your own hands. It is just so energizing to me. So I was saying that to you, how fascinated you are by technology, and you're like, you mean frustrated?
I literally thought it was a typo.
But it's so cool, right? Because once you're able to do that, like just think about like how many more lives you're going to impact, how many people you're going to be able to help and serve. And I've been in the Zoom rooms with you when you're helping people shift their stuckness, the beliefs that they have about themselves, and you're giving them permission and you're allowing them to lean into their intuition. It is just so cool. I feel like I always want to be a fly on the wall in your Zoom rooms with your clients, because it is just so incredible. And
Thank you.
I resonate with, what your clients are saying, what they're telling you. I resonate with all of that. I'm like, once upon a time, I struggle with some of those things, or in some cases, I'm still in that phase. I'm still struggling with some of those things, So
Absolutely.
it's just so incredible. I just feel so grateful and so blessed that, you get to do this work and I get to be your co-pilot and your facilitator of your success in the background.
Oh, thank you. Just you saying, like, doing that work. I am so somatic, and I just feel like my energy just spreads through here. I just love, there's nothing, that's why I'm a sledgehammer, right? There's nothing more soul filling and energizing for me than to be in those spaces with people. Nothing. Like I could do it all day. Like they say, what can you do? Or time zooms by. This, you and I talking right here, like any of that, like this is what I could do all day, every day. Like I love it. And I feel so grateful that it is of service. And I feel so grateful that I got clear on it. And then I am, and beyond grateful that I have you that can help me with the pieces that kept me stuck. And like I've said this before a million times, like we need different things at different times. We need different mentors and supports at different times. And I worked with this she was in her 20s, Sonia Choquette, who I love, she's an intuitive, her daughter, weekly for I think 4 years. It changed everything inside of me. And I had signed up for that. I knew I was ready. I needed it. And then that was amazing. And then here I am. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I'm really ready. I have all this stuff, great stuff to offer. I just don't know how to get it online. And then there's Timmy. And so, you've brought that, like, yeah, I could be great in my office here doing it, but it would just stay right here with just me and my empty chair. So, it has been the biggest gift. And so I also say to people, like, use your intuition to pick your mentors. use your intuition. Who feels right? Who doesn't feel right? What is, we ended up with Michelle too, right? And Michelle, why did I bought one little $27 class and then boom, I'm signed up for her giant thing. I don't have a ton of extra money, but oh my gosh, I just did. And that led me to you. And that led me to her giving me some opportunities too. So I am very blessed.
Yep.
And some of that is listening to my intuition for sure. Because I have done other big classes that just ended up not getting me anywhere.
Yeah, same with me. I think Michelle was placed in my path at the right time also through Facebook ads, I'm sure, but but yeah, I'm so grateful. She's such an amazing coach, mentor, and just her energy. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from Michelle is just showing up as yourself, right? We don't need to perfect things. We just need to show up. We just need to make the commitment to show up. And I, just see her juggling life and being this super charismatic entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Making so much money and creating such amazing impact. It's just, I tell her I want to be like Michelle Cunningham when I grow up.
Yes. Well, you already are. And I'll tell you what is rare in the space of what she is she gives away everything. Her time, her phone numbers to her people that help her. I mean, I've never, everybody else is sort of just holds it tight to their chest. And she does not. It is amazing. What a generous spirit. You're the same, Timmy. I mean, you guys just give. And it's not like you're not boundaried. I'm just saying like your information, your love, your patience, your kindness. It's been such a teacher for me because I've not really even been in like the corporate, whatever world this is, the online world space, business space much.
Mm-hmm. So Martha, there was a time when you and I initially talked. So we met through Michelle's program, right? So you and I initially talked and we knew like, the help you needed. And then you said, I'm not ready yet. Right. So do you remember that conversation? And then a few weeks later, when we connected again, you're like, send me the link. Where do I sign up? Right. Mm-hmm. So I want you to just share like what was, holding you back from making that decision. And if other people are also in that phase, what would you say to them? And then also how was this, I guess, was that a good decision is what I would ask.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I had not thought of that. And the first time we spoke was we were just I was telling you what was going on with me and you were telling me about your program. I think I honestly, I think I couldn't imagine because this part of your 12-week program your program is about creating courses. And I think I have, and for all those folks out there that have difficulty in their, for me, it's my left brain again, is I have difficulty organizing and I have difficulty linear thinking around how to organize something. So I think it was overwhelming for me to think I think I just had disbelief that I could ever, oh, sorry, my screen went away. That I could ever organize my brain in a way that needed to be done, and in order to write class, create online courses and offerings. And I'll tell you what changed. And part of it, I think, was Michelle was just saying, you got to get the information out there. Like you've just got to be of service. And then I started to think back about me growing up. We grew up with no money. I didn't have access to anything. It was rural Michigan. I didn't know what a therapist was. I had never heard of that. And I was just like, oh, and then I started really thinking about being a highly sensitive person and an empath. And I was like, you know what? That would have really been helpful to me had I had information about how I process things and how I'm so empathic. And if someone could have, even if there was a book or something and there's nothing out there that I had access to that spoke to who I was. And I thought, oh my gosh. And when I started to shift rather than plotting and thinking about how to do the things, it was more like, oh, what could I get out there that could be helpful to somebody that was like me, that didn't have a lot of money to buy things and that was pretty isolated in a place where I didn't there was nobody to talk about who I was and the kind of person I was. Teachers didn't really, I don't know. It just was. And so I think it was that mindset shift for me, like, oh, maybe something I can say would really be helpful. And let me get it out there in an affordable way. What would that be? Oh, that would be a course. That would be an online course that people could sign up for, that they don't have to pay much for, that I could really put my heart and soul into. And I think that was the shift for me. And then when you came up with your 12-week program and then walked me through it, like, we are going to either do it or help you do this tech stuff. And we're going to help you walk through the thinking of this class. Like, it's so hands-on. I was like, I don't think I could do it any other way. Then there's coaching along the way. Like, I needed all of those elements for the way that my brain works. And you guys provide that. And then to be able to send stuff over and you put it online, like, that was a game changer too. So that's what happened for me. I realized I wanted to offer a lower price offering and something people could always access. And then I realized that was a course. I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Martha, I love it. So I'm going to share the link for your mini course, Empowered Entrepreneur, right? So I want people to go to soulcoach.com, so soulcoach.marthaarnett.com/empowered. And if I may, can I just showcase this on screen real quick?
Please.
Because it just makes my heart happy. You have built. So people need to see this. Okay, so very quickly, I just want to show how beautiful Martha's page looks like. For
this is your team. Your team did this beautiful work.
Sign up for your program, right? Just makes me so happy. So I want everybody to go check this out.
Yep.
Download it. Download the workbook.
Yep.
Take a look at the videos. Super, super helpful. Like,
yep. Good.
Change something in you if you're feeling stuck. So
yes,
share that with people.
It's beautiful. You guys did such a beautiful job.
And I also I see that Jennifer had sent a couple of comments to us saying, I think I struggle with trusting my intuition with starting my own Mary Kay business.
Yeah. And to that, I say, Jennifer, of course you do. Of course you do. Just let's validate. We're in a world, a society where we are not taught to trust our intuition first. We are taught to trust all the facts that we hear. So I say to you, see if you can sit with yourself, maybe make a list of all the facts of, I don't know if this is starting or like Jennifer, I'm also really available to build a business. It's hard to, it is hard to build a business. It's hard trusting yourself. Yeah. But I often, trust is such a huge, huge thing. Trusting yourself that if you make a move that maybe wasn't the best move, you've got the internal and external resources to support yourself, right? It's all about trust. If we can build a strong foundation within us around, I do, failures are air quotes, but like, if we fail, we still have got the internal resources to know that this was a learning opportunity. It's how we think about it, right? It's how we think about our experiences. So I'd love to walk you through any of that, Jennifer, if you'd like. It's my website's marthaarnett.com, or there's other, and you can schedule directly with me on there. And I'm happy to walk you through it. But I just want to say, absolutely, of course you are. I mean, even though I'm super in touch with my intuition, I still, of course, have to work with it. I have to do practices daily to clear it. I just told you, before I got on, I went outside and I just like stood outside. Like, there's things I do to really stay a clear channel. I drink this is a big mason jar of water with lemon in it. And I mean, I do all the things all day long. Moving my body is key. Being outside, walking, nature, all those things to help getting off your electronics. Please, 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 be scheduled with them, be ritualized with them, use them as a tool, don't have them use you. It's really going to be a game changer for you if you do step away from using them all the time or in a way that's not conscious, as a tool.
I love it. I'm still getting rid of my Apple Watch. I think
oh my gosh.
On my room.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. My husband is one of those too. And I'm like, you're never away. Yeah.
Okay, so Martha, something fun we like doing is a rapid fire round of questions. So you can't take too long to think. You just
Okay.
have to, give us the first answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love doing that. And I know that you also have to hop off in a few minutes because you have another call. So we'll go fast.
That's
Okay. Favorite dessert?
Oh, favorite dessert. The thing that popped in was a homemade chocolate chip cookie.
I
Hot,
love those.
yum.
Love it with the scoop of ice cream on top.
Yes, with ice cream would be great. Yes. Or pumpkin pie. I also love pumpkin pie. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Favorite childhood game?
Anything outside running around. So like amoeba or some tag game. We used to play, this is a horrible name, but we used to call Murder in the Graveyard or something. And we had this big tree, terrible name, but big tree. And then we would have to run and find the person that was hidden. And we were in the country, so it was scary. And then you have to run back and touch the tree. I think that would have been my favorite childhood game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite season?
Isn't it weird? Instinctively, I want to say fall, but my sensitivities get all wonky in the fall, but I would say probably the fall.
Okay. Martha, your favorite spot to hang out in?
By a fire.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so picturing you now out in the woods by fire.
Yes,
in the fall,
exactly.
Coming together.
Yep.
One of your favorite books?
Oh, The Midnight Library. Have you read it?
No.
Oh, it was on the New York Times bestseller for years, maybe. The Midnight Library. Brilliant book about you see everybody, you see this, you got one person's many different lives. If she would have made different choices, she has all these different lives and how she feels about them. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I must check that out. That sounds so fascinating. I think I'll totally get into it. So I should check that out.
Yes.
Okay. So a pet peeve of yours. What can you not?
Oh my gosh, this is so horrible but I can't stand it when people stand in the escalator on the side that you're supposed to walk up. Okay. I can't stand it when they just stand there with all their stuff. They stand there. Now, if they have luggage and stuff, I understand, but I can't stand it. I'm such a walker. I'm a walker, mover. So when people just stand there, it makes me crazy. That and like when a bunch of hangers get all caught up together and I can't get the hanger out, that makes me crazy too. Those would be my pet peeves.
Thank you for sharing. Now we know.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
That was my of all time. Wow. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Martha, what change do you want to see in the world?
Ooh. Well, of course, peace pops to mind right away, right? Peace. Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be a funny one.
Okay.
The time when your child embarrassed you in public, if you want to share.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Oh, well, there was a cute one. And I have 3 daughters, and I've always been very, very open with them about their bodies and things. And so we're standing in the grocery store, and my oldest, who was probably 3 at the time, grabs a box of pads or whatever, holds them up, and she's like, "Mama, which ones do you like?" And she's screaming, and she's going and taking them all off, and she running up and down the aisle like, "Mama, which ones do you need? Which ones do you need?" Now, it probably wouldn't embarrass me much now, but at the time I remember going, oh no. So that's the first thing that pops to mind. I just wanted them to be super open, opposite of how I was raised. And so that she was very comfortable with it all.
Funny.
Yeah. It was cute.
Martha, a piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
I would say trust that what you're feeling is right. Like trust your intuition. And I did, but I would really say and another thing is I would say those thoughts that you get, like those are not just, and those images that you see, like those are purposeful. That's what I would say. Those are purposeful. And I would also say, don't date that one guy that you started to date your second year of college. He's bad. He's bad news. He's horrible. So those two things.
Thank you so much, Martha.
Oh,
I
you're
have
welcome.
thoroughly enjoyed having you here. This time was just so fantastic.
It
We
was.
must do this again.
Oh, I would love it, Timmy. Thank you so much for having me in your space to talk with your beautiful people. So I'm so grateful. Thank you.
I love you, Martha. We'll
I love
chat
you too.
soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.